there, my name's Jill Tiney. I'm from Collaboration Global, and this is our podcast, Being Human, Hidden Depths. I'm going to be interviewing some of our members from Collaboration Global, and they're going to be sharing with you their extraordinary lives. Although they would probably believe they're just normal, everyday, average humans, but they are extraordinary. A bit like you and me. We all have our story to tell. We've all been through difficult times, and we've come out the other end having learnt an extraordinary amount about ourselves that we can share with others. So I think you'll find lots of things that will resonate with where you've been in your journey as well. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Hello and welcome to Being Human Hidden Depths by Collaboration Global, and my name is Jill Tiney, and today I am joined by not a member of Collaboration Global, as is the usual case, but somebody who's snuck in the back door. I met this delightful man only 2 weeks ago at a lovely event hosted by Fatima Whitbread, raising awareness for her campaign, Fatima's UK campaign around children in care. And we ended up almost opposite each other at dinner. And we ended up having a really interesting conversation, and we are alike in so many ways. Now, I think this conversation is going to highlight some of those ways to you. But before we start, let me welcome Mr. David Abel. Lovely to have you with me today, David.
Thank you, Jill. Thanks for the warm introduction.
I know very little about you, apart from if you're listening to this and not watching it on YouTube. Behind David, he has a beautiful logo, the Digital Lightbulb, which is one of the many, many things that he does. And when I saw that initially, I thought, Digital Lightbulb, oh, he's a tech guy. And I put you down to left brain thinking, digitally involved, ready, probably creating apps and things like that. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, we've probably got nothing in common. But we did. So tell me briefly, David, how the Digital Lightbulb came about.
Yeah, right. So I, like a lot of people, pivoted just before COVID.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story about that in a bit more detail. But having been working abroad, I'd got back to the UK. COVID happened 2 months later. I'm in digital marketing, e-commerce, and brand infrastructure. And everybody wanted to go online. And a lot of people reached out to me and said they needed advice with their website and their business or their social media. Somebody gave me a testimonial that said, Dave is my go-to light bulb for ideas.
Oh, there we go.
That's where the light bulb comes in for ideas. I like the word bisociation. It's something I've read up about that's gone through the history of time. Even as far as Einstein, I'm not saying I'm a genius.
You're definitely.
Confident, but I wouldn't call myself a genius yet. But I love the idea of Edison and his 1,000 attempts to get the light bulb right. It's actually my mission it's 47 days till I'm 47 years old.
Oh, bless you.
Today. And I've made a pledge that I'm going to create 1,000 ideas between now and when I'm 50 for businesses. I'll become the most prolific business ideas person you've come, and I'm glad I've been able to put it out here in the universe. But the reality was I was just looking for the name, the digital something.
Right.
And somebody gave me this testimonial, and I just fell in love with it. And so it was there on GoDaddy for like £1. I quickly registered the limited business, the social media handles, the LinkedIn, everything you need. Yeah. Got the logo from a friend, and
there you are.
And off I went, yeah.
And that's how simple it is, folks, to start off an idea that goes into a business, that goes into a gazillion different other things. And now you've got that commitment. Say it again. What are you going to do by the time you're 50? Let's say it clearly and out loud.
Okay. 1,000 ideas for businesses. So my North Star would be to be recognized as one of the most prolific ideas creators in business, with a portfolio supporting 1,000 brands with via light bulb moments, just little phrases, switches, rambling stories where people go, oh, I see. There we go, and inspired a little bit by Warren Buffett. who had 500 businesses. I think
Yes.
70 of them did well, and maybe only seven did excellent. And it was those seven that did excellent that $10 billion fortunes as well. So I'm hoping there's a little financial reward for all that effort as well. The reason why I want to do that though is I want to feel alive in business. In 30 years, I've done some incredible jobs.
Mm.
Been very fortunate to be in some of the positions I've been in, but I've also been handed the mop and bucket many times over,
Hmm.
and understand how draining that is to really try and give everything to help someone with a mop and bucket. And
Yeah.
if it's someone else's business,
Yeah.
it often ends at some point.
This is true. But do you know what? Going back to your wonderful light bulbs, for me, that is, as a business coach, that moment when you can do that mic drop moment to your client and they like, oh, I never saw, oh, wow, I didn't see that. And for maybe you and me, I don't know if other people do it, but it's kind of like, that's obvious. How did he not see that?
Mhm.
How did he not? It's in front of you, for goodness sake. But actually, by the time you say it, they're like, it's been a fog and a mist, and they've been so encroached in all the other stuff that's going on, they can't see the wood for the trees, as the
Yeah.
goes.
Sometimes it's about it's the wood for the trees. It's I think it's well known that we've probably got 98% blind spot
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And pressure creates progress. And sometimes you just push someone a little bit. Why aren't we doing this? One of the best expressions I ever heard coming through the ranks was, "Why don't we just expose it to the danger of selling?"
Ooh,
Okay, and,
does.
and that can happen in many businesses. Expose it to the danger of selling. And the CEO used to say, "What's the worst that could happen? We could
Oh,
sell
yeah,
one. You
yeah,
know, what's the worst
exactly.
that can happen? We could sell one." And so, yeah, those kind of things do create impact and get people moving. And I think action is the next part of it. It's all very well having the idea,
Mm.
but can you take action?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. And that's part of, you say you're not a genius yet, but my philosophy is that we are all geniuses, genii, however you want to say it. I think that's controversial in itself how you say it. We all have genius deep within us, and it's up to us whether we get to let it out. And sometimes the genius in us is something that we've had all our lives, and we take it for granted, and we don't realize how special it is until other people start saying, like, you're an ideas man, you have all these light bulb ideas, and all of a sudden you've got the, oh my goodness, what she just said, it's so true. That is me. I had somebody not this long ago tell me that I was a strategist, and I'm like, no, I'm not a strategist. And then she pointed out exactly where I am a strategist. I went, oh, you mean I joined the dots? Yeah, 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 I could do that. Well, that's obvious to me. But then when you put a strategist in front of it, it's like, oh yeah, okay, all right, I
Yeah.
am.
Well,
So I think we've all got that genius within us. It's just some of us take it for granted.
I was always interested in, I think it was the first kind of remote offices
Mm,
that came about, and actually the feedback there of people connecting
mm,
and supporting each other with no politics.
yeah.
And, to find those moments that people tell you about, I urge everyone, this is what I do, I connect with people. Um, can't think of the right word, but I'm a serial connector.
Yeah,
If I'm not meeting two or three new people a week,
at least.
including doing my work as well,
Yeah.
or having accountability sessions with biz friends, and they're the ones. Just like you said, someone said to me, "You're really good at real time interaction as well," and then you start to collect these little badges that even you can't see, even I can't see for
Yeah.
whatever reason. They're blind spots or self-doubt, and I don't want to say imposter syndrome, but there's so many good attributes you have that maybe in some environments people won't tell you. I remember going for lunch. I lived in Dubai for a little while, and I
Mhm.
went for lunch with my colleague Gemma, if she's out there listening,
Mhm.
and she was very quiet but very professional. And I felt the president and the board loved how smart and sharp she was.
Right.
And I told her over lunch, and she said, "Oh no," she said, "I wish I was more like you. I wish I was energetic and full
Oh,
of it and passionate." And
yeah.
so we both looked at each other, and but nobody would tell you those
Mm.
things. And how can we be anything but ourselves? Oscar Wilde's quote, everyone's taken.
Yeah.
Be yourself, everyone's taken. It's actually harder. Believe you me, I had undiagnosed ADHD till I was 42,
Oh gosh.
and I masked a lot
Yes, I can imagine.
trying to fit in. And
Wow.
once you try and fit in, it actually becomes a little bit of a habit
Yep.
as well. So it's harder and more exhausting to be
Mm.
someone else than it is to be yourself. It's nice to have influence around you, but honestly, when you
Mm.
can let yourself go and be
Yeah.
yourself and not be afraid,
And be damned.
you'll be off. Yeah.
I love it. That's so true. Uh, so many times we look at other people and see them. This is partly why the whole blooming podcast exists, because I look at other people and I go, wow, you're amazing. Can I interview you? And they're like, oh, I'm just nobody in particular. And you're like, for goodness sake, you're good at this, you've done that, you've been here. And one of our members, she's ex-military, and she talks like she was going to the corner shop when she's recounting how she was trapped in an avalanche, or when she boarded the plane to Afghanistan, or when she met the Queen. And I'm like, what? You never told me that bit.
Mhm.
It's just like, it's so kind of like, whoa, everyone does that. No, they don't. No, they do not go through the sorts of things. And now she talks about resilience and having confidence and being in the boardroom and being bullied and what that all feels like. And her bravery is old school bravery, like going to war. And yet she talks about having to be brave in the boardroom. It's just so many people don't see their own genius and what they are special at. So that's part of what I love, is unpicking it. So I'm glad that you found your genius in time, and also understand that up to the age of 42, you've been masking. So as you say, that must have been exhausting to go through and to actually let go and go, well, that's why I'm like that.
You know, I felt the same as your the person in your network there. That I got into the boardroom about 38 or so. So felt young. I'd always had a burning desire, one of my key skills, burning desire to be a director. I'd started work at 16, so
Mm.
that's where I wanted to be. And I got in there and I just saw these people kind of going over the edge of this conveyor belt, age 55, 60, not quite making it to retirement or even just going to retirement, just burning out, sitting on the sofa. My father did that. He took early retirement. He carried on going down the pub as if he was one of the lads, and he ended
Yeah.
up having a stroke. I was
Oh,
behind someone in a queue who was talking to the teller
yeah.
the other day who said she was retiring. And he said, don't bother. It's boring watching Netflix all day. And I was just
Yeah.
like, wow, that
Yeah.
is your choice,
Yes.
by the way. It is
Yeah.
your choice. But it's very hard in the boardroom if it's political. There's people ganging up on people
Yeah.
left, right, and center. And just something didn't feel right to me about that. So, I made the change, and I was glad that I was able to create my own business and not have to be someone else. But when I took therapy, the therapist said to me, "Why do you keep looking around? Why do you keep looking around? There's no one
Mm.
else here. If you
Right.
don't tell me the truth and you don't say it here, you'll never say anywhere." And she said, "It
Yeah.
must be exhausting being you." And I've got a phrase, Cupid strikes to kill.
Right.
Just like my own light bulb moments, in a way, it's Cupid strikes to kill, where it's the undeniable truth that you just submit to. It's like the archer, Cupid shoots the arrow in your heart. Must be exhausting being you. Oh my God. How much weight does that lose though when you're being
Yeah.
honest?
Yeah. I had a business partner that always used to say to people, what jacket are you wearing today? Who are you being? I'd be like, what do you mean, who am I being? He said, oh, are you being a mum or a wife or a business partner or, networker, or who are you being? He said, because what you're wearing just isn't suiting you at the moment. Try another jacket on, because it isn't working. So in the end, you realize that you get rid of all the facade and you just be you. And then all of a sudden, it's not, as you say, not so exhausting. You just be that person. And it's like, you take me as I am, take me or leave me. This is it. I can't do anything about it. If you don't like it, then that's kind of your problem. Um, obviously uh, not being a mean person or anything, but just if we rub up the wrong way, then we just rub up the wrong way,
Move
and
on.
that's
That's it. Take it.
exactly, and that's
Move
part
on.
of what we say at Collaboration Global. So you called it a network, but it's not really a network. What we liken it to is an online country and a community. And the whole thing is about you're a human being. And I don't care about your labels. I don't care if you're black or white or old or young or rich or poor, or you might live in a mansion. I don't really care. You might live in a shack. I don't really care. It's you as a person that I'm interested in, your ideas, your thoughts, your future thinking, and where you've been and how you've got to where you are. Whether that be just one of our members has just started a school in Lahore in Pakistan. Another one of our members is a multimillionaire, and he's just teaching other people how to survive the lonely seat of being at the top of the tree and looking after the people underneath. So it doesn't matter all of those things. It's like, if you're being authentic, if you're being your genuine self, and you realize that the only reason you're on this planet is to support the other human beings around here and help other people. And yes, you might get paid for it. Well done. That's not the reason we do it. We do it because we are the only things on this planet that are there for each other. And if we're not there for each other, life is not going to be worth living, really. If we're just out for ourselves, it becomes a very lonely space.
I think as well that misunderstood ego as well. There's
Yeah.
8 billion of us specks of dust
Yeah.
flying around on some rock in the middle
Yeah.
of billions of other planets as well. Someone thinks they're better than someone else. You know, every good person I know who's been in that position regrets it later on in life.
Mm.
Says, "Oh, I wish I hadn't been like that." And I think COVID was a real turning point.
Gosh, yeah.
We just learned there was more to life, didn't we? And then we're off as well.
Such short memories, such short memories. I mean, it really was. When you're in lockdown, the thing that you're missing is the people, isn't it? It's the relationships and the hugs and the
Mm.
community or the family or the friends. And then you're not missing, oh, I haven't been out in my Mercedes today to go to work. It's like, well, whatever. I miss my friends. I want to have a hug. And that's the reality, is that we take that for granted when everything is so-called normal. We forget what it was like back then, don't we? Anyway, let's change the subject slightly. What I'm interested in is, again, joining the dots. I love joining the dots. So you're an ideas man, right? So again, we have a lot in common. I think that's my thing. I can see lots of, have you thought about that, and have you done that, and have you spoken to this person, and that would help you do. It's kind of like you can't help yourself. You have to kind of share those thoughts and ideas. And I've looked back at my life and realized that I've been doing it since I was 4. So I've stolen this question from Simon Sinek. And he says, think back to your childhood when you were about 7 or 8, and think of your sort of happy times. What were you doing when you just remember being really happy? What game were you playing, or what activity were you part of that was like, yeah, I loved being 7 years old. It was great.
I always go back to my family. My mum's the oldest of 10.
Whoa, nice.
So I've got
A lot of cousins.
22 cousins, the uncles and aunts. There was my granddad and my grandma
Yeah.
as well on top. And then the family's gone that way as we've got older, my kids. And I'm not sure if there's another third generation
Probably.
behind me yet. It's going to be close now that the cousins, children's children will have them. But to
Yeah.
that point there, so we grew up, this was a council house in Coventry. My mum's mum actually died when she was 11.
Gosh.
So my granddad had 6 kids to bring up on his own.
Yeah.
And then he got remarried, fostered, had a daughter, and then ended up with twins,
Wow.
9 and 10. And they didn't know. They said, "I'm here with your son and your other son." And he went double over the stairs. In the 1970s, when, the dad took the phone call from the neighbour because he didn't go to the hospital.
Yes. Yes.
So some of my uncles were only 5, the twin uncles were only 5 years older than me.
Wow.
So I was brought up with all kinds of ages and all kinds of people.
Nice.
And those times in that house were just so much fun. It was number 100, which was a pretty cool thing. And
Yeah.
you just knock on the door, open the door, and you go, "Hey, hey," and there'd always be someone there to give you a hug. So my
Yeah.
family is still my safe people, and they still give you the big "hey" and the hug when you see them. I was an only child. I was into normal kind of things, football. I did always have a burning desire to be rich, though. Something
Okay.
that I carried on throughout my life. I don't know why or where that came from, this money thing. It could be because I'm a Capricorn, if there's any
Okay.
Capricorns out there who's smiling away. Um, but yeah, just that family time was always a lot of fun and lots of love in
Yeah.
those. So they're some of my fondest memories.
That's lovely. Yeah, I get that. My dad was one of 12, and he was the youngest. So he was an uncle before he was, the day he was born, kind of
Yeah,
thing, with his nephews from those years before.
yeah.
And it is that kind of um, probably why we're both interconnecting with lots of people and having lots of people around. I used to come home from work, and when my kids were teenagers and they've got home from school before me and they've brought their friends around, and I'd walk through the front door and there's all these pairs of shoes. I'm like, woohoo, who's here today then? And I'd go in and find out all the kids playing all over the place. My husband would come in and see all the pair of shoes and oh, when are they going home? So because he wanted his castle and his domain to be all himself, all his own. So I think this kind of connecting people and supporting people and helping is what is filtered down through the generations for you. I think what your mum went through when her mum died must have been traumatic going down the road. And I think for me, a similar scenario happened that my mum's dad died when she was 7, and it was 6 weeks before war broke out. So you can feel that her whole life has been, come on, get on with it. You can't cry, and that sort of. So I was always taught, don't cry. This is, you got to get on with it. It might be tough, but get on with it. So you always kind of roll your sleeves up. Even now, somebody says, why do you bother having clothes with sleeves? Because you always roll them up.
Yes,
Got
yes.
work to do.
No, my mum's very much. I was the leader, and when their dad passed away, even though she was 60 and her siblings were in their 50s, it was hard for her to cry
Yeah,
and show that. And I was like, it's your dad as well.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
have a day off from this. You don't even need to be this anymore. But look, you can be a grandma now. With me, I've got two kids, they're 11 and 8, and you can still be that beautiful grandma who leads the way and does other things. So for her, she can get to reinvent herself a little bit. They're all grandparents themselves now, most of them.
Yeah.
Those brothers and sisters, or the youngest kids are like 21. So
Mm.
it's hard to sort of tell someone how to run their life and how to pull your socks up.
But what parent listens to their child, really, and vice versa? What child really listens to their parent? Quite often, you can find yourself doing something, and your parent said, "I told you that 10 years ago." Sorry, but if we don't, we just don't listen to our parents, and our children don't listen to us. Then you'll find that out. If they're 11 and 8, they're not far off of that time of
Well,
that massive
my
independence.
my granddad did say when they're young they break your arms, and when they're older they break your heart. And what he said was that you spend all that time picking them up,
Yeah,
crying, "Hey, come here, come here." As soon as
yeah.
they turn 16, they put two fingers up and say, "I don't want to live here anymore. It's boring." And you go, "Oh, thanks very much."
I don't necessarily agree with that bit. My kids went off to uni and came back, and the youngest one went, "Mum, I'm moving out soon." I went, "You don't have to, sweetheart." She said, "No, I do, because if I don't move out soon, I will be here forever."
Yeah.
You make it too nice. I've got to go now before I lose my nerve. So
My
okay.
son does. My son doesn't want to leave. I can see my daughter just doing what she wants. She's quite chilled.
Okay, so that age group, let's ask a different question. How would you feel about screens, phones, and things? Tough one, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's like I just let out a huge puff of air there on that one. So yes, first of all, Steve Jobs wouldn't let his kids go on the iPad. They're
Exactly.
terrible, aren't they? I'm trying my best to turn my phone off at 9 o'clock at night till 9 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah,
because nothing good happens before or after that
yeah,
you need to
I agree.
see. My son was in the last year of preschool when lockdown happened.
Right.
So me and my wife were working. My daughter was getting homeschool. He kind of got left. I'm sure
Mhm.
he's got some kind of a screen addiction. So we have a real daily fight with him to limit that
Mm,
as well and try and improve reward charts, Lego, reading, painting,
anything.
music, all the things you need.
Yeah,
So it's a real problem
yeah.
as well. And I can see, I wouldn't say he's lonely. He's got a good friendship circle at school and he's bright, so it's not holding him back, but there's too much, and we don't know the damage these things can do
No.
to you as well. My daughter is has always been read. She started playing guitar. She'll stay back from with school and do music and uses the screen for education.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've really got two double-edged sword there, haven't I? I've got one that uses it for education and pushing themselves forward and not really into socializing too much on it. She'll
Hmm.
happily forget her phone.
Nice.
And the other one, he'll run in and be like, ah, and it's like, that's your hour.
Yeah.
So yes, it's a big problem, and I don't know where we'll go, how we'll grow out of it. His ambition is to become a gamer or a YouTuber.
If that's going to be his career, then are you restricting him and stopping him from doing what is his natural? Because, as you say, if this has all happened during the pandemic, how many other children are like that? That they're used to that dopamine hit, which has been created specifically to get them addicted to the blooming machines, isn't
And
it?
it gets worse. And it gets worse. I'll call out Roblox or Roblox or Roblox or whichever way
Uh,
you call it. If you
yeah,
don't know it, I mean it's everywhere.
yeah.
And he started saying, I need to be on the iPad at 11:59 on a Saturday because that's when they do the new release. So they're actually marketing to little kids, which is,
Oh,
let's call it out. That's just not good enough. The
no.
new release, just like I would in marketing, I can't say I'm any better because I do it to adults.
Yeah.
But you know, for
Mm,
kids under what's it called? I think that's too much.
yeah. Yeah. It is really hard. I was listening to somebody being interviewed the other day whose name escapes me, saying how part of what we are duty bound to do with our children is educate them on how to use it and also the dangers of it. One of our members runs a charity called AbSafe in Scotland, up in Aberdeen, and it's all about educating young people on the danger of anything, swimming, wild swimming, electricity, online gaming, all anything you can think of that might knives and how to cut things properly. And but
Mm.
they kind of do it in such a way to make it entertaining, to make it reasonable, to make it fun. But one of the things they say is that young children do not know, and once you've seen something on the internet, you can't unsee it, can you? And they don't realize what dangers are lurking there from the point of view of once you put stuff on there about yourself, it's there forever for people to find and utilize. So that's what worries me is the dark web and those children getting access to it or them being used for their images and things. So ground rules. I think it's like anything, you've got to keep talking to them. I used to say to my kids when they were like, I don't know the answer to this problem. I said, my head says one thing, my heart says no. Help me make a decision. And they would sit down and go, if it was us, if we were you, mum, we'd let us do this and this and this. And in my mind, I've gone, I'll let them do that and that. And then they come back with a better option than that and that. And I go, oh, you want that and that? Oh, okay, yeah, well, maybe we'll try that then. So they were policing themselves, but they thought they were helping me out. But it's keeping the dialogue open. The minute you go, that's the rules in this house and that's it, without any discussion, then it's like they're going to push against you because
Yeah, no, I think most people have been there where, they're not allowed to be part of it. If you
yeah,
want your children, if you want to change the world, you've got to start with letting your children
yeah,
want to press against
yeah. But they don't
you. But I think having had that big family, I've seen what good relationships
look
look
like.
like. I've seen what
Mm,
an adored father looks like. I've seen what good parenting looks like off the back of that. So I've got my own
yeah.
guides and direction, and we're good friends here. We keep open the dialogue in the evening with a game called High Low Buffalo.
Oh, sounds good.
Yes, to say you're one high, you're one low, and you're one buffalo.
What's a buffalo?
A buffalo is what's that random thing that happened today
Oh,
that you
lovely.
could never think that was going to happen.
I love
My
that.
daughter just came back from school today and said I had to judge the year eights doing a singing competition. Some were French, some were German, some were dressed like bananas.
Okay. I like that school.
Yeah. So the buffalo, and I love that. But even when I've
Mm,
said what my low is today, people have come to me and said, "Oh, do you think it's just a moment or this, that, and the other?" And I've been able to talk about it. How
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. That's a blessing, isn't it? We used to, and again, having dinner together as well is another blessing. When that's when
Every
you have
day.
no phones and you sit down and you have those conversations. My girls used to go, so what I used to say, so what have you learned today? What's one thing you've learned? It's a bit high low, off low, but I absolutely adore that. I'm going to take that up with my grandchildren. But and then they'd say to me, and what have you learned? And I'm like, oh well, what have I learned?
There you go. It's when they ask you back, isn't it? Isn't that
Yeah,
wonderful, that one?
yeah, I absolutely love it. So at least that's lovely when you've got a village to raise your children. It's not just you, is it? And I always wanted to have one of my friends was 13 years younger than me. And she would be the one that the girls would go to if they were cross with me or they wanted to talk to somebody about something, then they could go and talk to her, which was always lovely. So someone else apart from boring old mum to have a whinge to.
There you go. That's an original community, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it, Jill.
Exactly. So, David, you also, I love it on your LinkedIn profile, you're a revenue advisor
Oh, yeah.
for a billion plus. How did you get involved with that? A billion plus business?
Yeah. So there you go. It started off with a
Cool.
burning desire to become rich.
Yeah.
Just personally wanted to earn. So unbeknowingly, the undiagnosed ADHD, I think, was why I left school at 16. I went to school, top thing frozen. Think I froze.
Yep. Okay. I think you're back again.
Okay.
You left school at
So
16.
yeah, I left school at 16. I think the undiagnosed ADHD had a part to play because I do remember being in English, having music playing full blast in my head. And some of the stats say it's actually quite hard for neurodiverse people to pass university. Didn't
Right.
know what I wanted to do. So I got into work at 16 for a stock controller to the high street. I was supplying stuff to the high street like British Home Stores and
Yeah.
Woolworths and
That's,
a few others from the past.
yeah.
Got good at work. Um, like I said, wanted to earn money. Started off with can I earn as much as my mum, then as much as my mum and dad together, then twice as much, and da 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 da. Before I knew it, I turned over $1 billion for brands worldwide. I worked at Ted Baker when they were a small startup,
Wow.
did the buying and merchandising for a very young business that was full of really entrepreneurial, energized, no office commitment and culture,
Wow.
no marketing budget.
Right.
We made the Windows move. We did everything different. We were no ordinary designer limited. And their attitude really spoke to me.
Yeah.
I moved into Tesco's when they were one in every £7, and that dropped to one in six while I was there. And I launched the clothing. You remember when Tesco's opened?
We're having a bit of a problem with our signal today. I'm
Sorry,
not sure.
Jill.
That's
Looks
all
like this.
right. Is it your
Yeah,
end or my end?
I could be my apologies. But I'm just going to mute my phone actually. Yeah, no, it's muted. Sometimes at this part of the day it does this, right?
All
Going
right.
to Tesco's, launched the clothing and some of the cook shop, non-food when Tesco started moving into, those hypermarkets with on two
Yes.
floors
Huge,
as well.
weren't
The
they?
Tesco Extras, they were called. Yes.
Mm.
Got into e-commerce, went to Dubai, launched a
Oh, this is a shame.
million startup there. I think it's my end, Jill.
Yeah, because I haven't had a problem all day. Let's
All
just
right.
see if I'm going to make sure I am plugged in. Sorry about this. Well,
It's all right.
we'll hopefully squeeze it back down again.
Don't
So
worry.
you basically the short answer is you did an awful lot for a lot of companies. Are you sure you're not like 73 already? Because it sounds like you've packed a lot into a very short
Well,
space
that
of
was what it was. It
time.
was it was it was it was almost 25 years. And because I oh,
Frustrating, isn't
oh sorry, Jill.
it? Never mind. We'll give it our best shot. What have we got? We've had about half an hour, so we'll keep going.
Yeah.
It seems like it's okay while I'm talking, and then you start talking, and we drop out again. But
I'm gonna get back from the screen in case I'm just giving it too much energy.
probably.
So yeah, because I started at 16, by the time I was 2021 and everyone was leaving university my age,
You had that
coming
all
in
that
with their geography
experience.
degrees and their history degrees, I was already about three levels ahead. So
Yeah, yeah.
I just got in first. That was my golden
Brilliant.
nugget on that one. Get in first, have a burning desire, have a plan, have some perseverance.
Yeah.
I managed to build the right frameworks within myself. I really enjoyed my work, loved business,
Mm.
got bored, got to the boardroom, decided I didn't love it, and my wife's, someone gave me a bit of an ultimatum because I was traveling around too much.
Yes.
When are you coming home?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We need you here
I think so. Yeah, I
was
get
the magic words. We need
that.
you, and that was it. I came back, and like I said, it was just 2 months before COVID. So, yeah,
Wow.
I've advised some of the biggest brands, some of the best names like IKEA, Reebok, Marks and Spencer, Ace Hardware in
Yeah.
America, who are like the home base of the Middle East.
All right. So what's your ambition now? If money is no longer quite your driver, and obviously we still like money, it's very handy. But if it's not your driver or your purpose, do you have a purpose or a mission in mind?
Well, the first thing when I realized that I was just overworking and escaping into work was to become a good dad.
That's a big, big ambition. Well done.
Yes. And in the 6 years, I've been able to stay at home and build my business from the spare room, like all great entrepreneurs
Yeah.
do, and realize that if you do have a burning desire and a plan and some perseverance, you can do anything you want, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
And so the digital light bulb met a guy called Joe Foster, who was the founder of Reebok,
Right.
who was the first CEO who actually sat me down and said, "Well, I messed it all up." He was so honest and so
Oh,
open,
wow. I like
but
that.
but would say, "Do this, you'll learn a lot. Off you go, keep going." Just like my granddad
Yeah.
would have done, that kind of very simple northern,
No
you can do
messing.
it,
Yeah.
optimistic, anything's possible, calm,
Oh,
and just honest. So I met him, and he opened a few doors for me. I co-authored a book with him called How to Survive and Thrive. There was an Amazon #1 bestseller, 20 co-authors, and I was shoulder to shoulder with Evander Holyfield, with Keith Chapman, who wrote Bob the Builder, and then
yeah.
went on to do Paw Patrol, and a few great others. I ended up at a tech conference in Transylvania,
Okay.
talked about
Like you do.
next generation marketing, almost like 2 months after the book launched.
Yeah.
And our first person I came face to face with was the Queen of Congo, Queen Diambi, who is the ruler of 3 million people, the Bakwalantu, second largest rainforest on earth, who gave a fireside talk about how we can still talk to nature and people talk to trees and animals. And once we lose those skills, and she talks about African community as well,
Mm.
that those once we lose those skills, they'll be gone. There's a professor at the Vatican there, someone who reported to Bill Gates, someone who reported to Bill Clinton, and I wasn't. It was a gift because I wasn't at a tech conference. I was at the intersection of global policy.
Wow.
It was curated with A players, B players, and C players, and I was happy to be a C player
Yeah. Yeah.
on that day. That was a nice refresher. Made friends with all these wonderful people, created my own podcast, a purpose-based podcast that
Yeah.
is called The Success Nuggets, that just puts the life in success. It's not just about Joe Foster who sold his business for 4 billion,
Mm.
and his great stories of going from 9 to 900 million in 4 years. They are wonderful.
Mm.
They are exciting, but they mentored me. I got into offices that I couldn't get into.
Yes.
So now I can stand shoulder to shoulder with some of the legends
Yeah.
and create a presenting podcast. But the thing that surprised me about setting up a podcast was the proximity and the relationship building and the mentoring as
Mm.
well. Standing on the shoulders of giant means you can see further
Yeah.
than ever before. So that really helps me a lot. And then the head teacher of my children's school
Mm.
came on and he said I wanted to be the teacher my teachers couldn't be.
Oh,
And I was like, there's the line. I want to be the dad my dad couldn't be. You
yeah.
could be the boss your boss couldn't be. We could all be the somebody our somebody couldn't be, right?
Hmm.
And he messaged me 3 weeks later and said, would you like to do our school TV,
Oh,
which was for my children's school? And
fabulous.
I jumped at the chance to promote motivational messages with marketing KPIs like, if we do this and we get the parents and the children together in the evening off the screens,
Hmm.
watching them be confident, driving the school's message,
Yeah,
you'll have improved focus, less absenteeism, higher grades, lower parent teacher conversations
yeah,
at the end of the day. So
yeah.
I got my first kind of purpose based project in.
Awesome.
As you mentioned, we met at Fatima's UK children's charity,
Hmm.
and it's a really touching thing.
Yeah.
How can I support people? Guy came on my podcast, he's planting 1 billion trees across Africa.
Mm,
And all of these amazing things, as well as being a good dad, as well as running the Digital Lightbulb and having 1,000 ideas for brands. So at
yeah,
some point, I said, I'll see if I can put 1 billion smiles next to those $1 billion as well. And if for the
that's
minute, if that just means partnering with the people who've got the purpose-led missions, creating my own live experiences has moved me very close to what I call mentor less.
mm,
Mentor less, I believe we're all mentor less in some department
yep,
of our business or our life as
yep.
well, where I actually just provide world-class coaching with these incredible people. So
Mm,
some of the biggest TED talkers, people who've worked, like I say, in some of the most incredible roles,
yeah,
you can sit down with them for a couple of hours
yeah. That's
and get
awesome.
involved, or do a sprint for a day, or a subscription, and you hire them. But get to know those people, come hang at the live events as
Mm,
well. But under it all is still to be a good parent. And my son's only 8, and I just think the more I know him, the better I become. The more I see things in myself, and there's a long way to go as
yeah.
well.
And you know what's lovely about being a parent, and whether you are a biological parent or just adjacent to a child, whatever their age, from 2 years onwards, they have such wisdom that we can access. I bet if you just sit down and on a bench overlooking the sea and have a chat with your son one day, or most days, he will say something that will make you go, wow, where did you get that from? And he'll be like, I don't know. But it will just be something that's come from him that is just, I mean, my 2 year old granddaughter a little while ago, we were in a park, it was beautiful, the leaves were falling, she was having a whale of a time. And I said, Lila, will you come on now? We've got to get to this place because it's starting in a minute and we're going to be late. And she came and she stood right next to me and looked up at me and she went, Nanny G, calm down. I just looked at her and went, yeah, you got a good point. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just that kind of precious wisdom that is innate in all of our children. We had a meeting once when we used to do Collaboration Global Live face to face. I've told this story a few times on the podcast. Apologies if you've heard it before, but it's worth repeating. And it was a half term, and a lot of the members said, "Oh, I can't come to the next meeting because it's half term." And I said, "What? Why?" They said, "Well, I've got to babysit my kids." I said, "Well, firstly, you don't babysit your own kids. Secondly, bring the kids with you. Well, let's have some fun." So we had an 18-month-old all the way through to an 82-year-old and everything in between. And we got the kids chatting, but the conversations that these children brought just blew my mind. And also seeing the adults being embarrassed by some of the things we were asking them to do, and the kids just jumping in and not being embarrassed at all. It was the dynamic between the two age groups and the sort of two generations was phenomenal.
That's very inspiring. That's very inspiring. I go to something every week called the Friendship Bench.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Such a beautiful name. And there's about 20 people, different people turn up every week. The average age, though, is 62.9. So it's an older crowd for me.
Yeah,
I'm 46, as I said, in 47 days till I'm 40. I'm 46, so I'm one of only three 40-year-olds that go, and it goes all the way up to 80.
perfect.
They never record it. It's just a general chat with a breakout room. And the other week, the topic was about grief. Someone's wife had passed away, and instead of the usual thing, someone said, how do we deal with grief? And everyone told their own stories. about grief, and there was people in their 80s, that, to your
Mm,
point, that stretch of ages, that width
yeah.
that comes with it. And she said, a lot of people I know have gone before me,
Yeah.
but you don't lose the love for people when they go. The love was inside you all the time. You might have to shine that light on someone else and
Mm,
find more people to love if that's what keeps you going. And I think a lot of people go, oh, that's it. And I
yeah.
know I'm not saying it's not painful
No.
to lose someone, but if the message is anything, it's just keep going.
Yeah. And also, whilst they might not be next to you anymore, they're still in the ether. They're still, the consciousness is still out there. So for me, it's talking to my parents and talking to my loved ones that have passed before me, because I still feel that that love, as you say, doesn't disappear. It's still there. You've got it within you, and you can still talk to them and ask questions, and the universe gets them to answer in various different ways. It's beautiful. But when I was a teacher 100 years ago, we used to have a friendship bench in the playground. And that was the idea. A lot of playgrounds would have it. If you haven't got anyone to play with today, you go to the friendship bench, and then people know you haven't got anyone to play with. So they'll come and go, do you want to come play with us? Um,
Wow,
it's a nice idea, isn't it?
that's so cool.
So nobody has to be on their own and lonely if they don't want to.
Nobody should be left behind, 100%. And loneliness is a real killer in the town I live in, Billericay,
Yeah.
in the UK near London. They've just created something called Uniting Kindness.
Nice.
And so there's 100 people in Billericay who support dementia, Alzheimer's, loneliness, care homes, and the rest of it. Quiet, unsung heroes who aren't tied together and they don't know each other exists. So they've created this badge, and at the minute there's a little bit of what's the word? There's some friction in the UK at the minute about the flag,
Yes.
immigration, and should
Yeah,
we be
yeah.
looking after our own? And I'm all for looking after our own if someone's grandma hasn't got winter fuel,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think there's other ways of doing it than just wishing there was dead bodies in the North Sea as well, which is, it's a real tough topic. So they've
Mm.
decided to fight back with a badge that unites kindness, that you can see people around the town,
Mhm.
because loneliness is one of the biggest killers out there at the
Oh,
minute.
absolutely. It's the pandemic of loneliness, isn't it?
There
Yeah.
is, and people are going days without speaking to people now.
Yeah, yeah, it's awful. Which is, I mean, the supermarkets. I was telling somebody today about it. One second. Um, you go in a supermarket and it's all self-service, and you've got no one to talk to. And I don't know about you, but I have lost count of the amount of times I've been in a supermarket and got chatting to somebody, usually an elderly person, and ended up with them crying on my shoulder for one reason or
Mm.
another. And if they go to a supermarket and that's the only place they talk to somebody for a week, then why would you take away that opportunity for them to chat to a cashier, um, and not be lonely anymore? Talking of
Yeah.
kindness, did I tell
Hello.
you about these? These are a lovely pair of socks, given to me by the wonderful Nick Adkins, over in, I want to say, California. And he says, the world is full of good. When you believe it, you see it. Keep doing that. And it says, you're going to make people smile each time you wear your pink socks. Some people will see them and comment on them. That's the moment to connect with someone new and say, it's good to see you. Don't miss each of these moments. So this is a viral plan that started about 10 years ago now, I think, and it's gone across the world. So people, basically, you have a pair of pink socks to wear yourself, and you have another pair of pink socks to give away to somebody. And it's a lovely idea to just spread the kindness. It just reminds people that we're all on this planet together, and let's make a difference together as well. So I totally agree, and I think the friendship bench is an absolutely lovely idea, and it doesn't take much to come up with an idea like that, like the badge. All those little things make such a difference. If you're in Billericay, by the way, I don't know if I've said this to you already, do you know a chap called Kevin Vorley, who runs the barbershop in town?
I know of the barbershop in town, yeah.
Next time you go in, pop in, say hi, and say Jill said hi.
Okay.
He's a good mate. He's an amazing guy. I've met networking many years ago, but we became good friends. And he's one of life's good people, because all he wants to do is spread some happiness. And he believed in the pandemic that the hairdressers and the barbershops should have been allowed to open sooner, because that's where people go to talk when they're struggling with
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
So true. Very astute man as well.
It is.
So, what else do I need to ask you? Let's have a think. 1,000 ideas for businesses. I like that. Can anyone register for your ideas? How do they kind of get to you to get for some more ideas?
Come and find me. My website is open, the Digital Lightbulb,
Awesome.
um, where you've got the mentoring service, you've got services for businesses, and I don't quite know what to call the 1,000 ideas as yet, but
Hmm.
I'll quickly get a page up on that. How to feel alive in business. So come find me at thedigitallightbulb.com or at LinkedIn, David Abel, and you'll see me, $1 billion revenue advisor,
Hmm.
it would say. Um, and if you want to listen to the podcast, the Success Nuggets, well, that's the free version of the audio mentoring as well. And that's probably one of the things I'm the most proud of. And it's just full of amazing people and amazing pieces of advice as well. So if you want somewhere to start and carry on this chat, there's a great place to
Yeah.
go as well without even having to pay anything. I had the founder of Yo Sushi on the other day who talks about conveyor belts, robots,
Yeah.
the creator of Bailey's, you know, the drink Bailey's,
Very much so. Yeah. Love it.
how he put chocolate powder in whiskey, and how in the 1970s he put red food coloring in Blue Nun, the white wine, and created the best-selling French red of the decade
Oh my
for
goodness.
a decade.
Wow. Well, you wouldn't think anybody would let on that they did that, would you?
He's
They
86
messed
now.
up.
I think no one's
Like,
no one's there to stop him anymore. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's true. I love it when
absolutely.
you can go to a podcast and you're listening, but you go, "Oh, I'm going to do that. It's a takeaway, isn't it? That sort of that again, mic drop moment. If you're listening to a podcast, what one do you like, apart from obviously being human hidden depths? I'd like to say that goes without saying. Um, what, who do you listen to? What podcast do you listen to?
Well, I don't really have a favorite podcast. I like Blinklist.
Oh, missed you
Do you know
again. Say that.
Blinklist?
Blinkist,
I don't really have
yes.
a yeah, I don't really have a favorite podcast, but I like Blinklist, the audio
Yeah.
books condensed into 15 minutes. I think that's helped with my ADHD as well, really get to the
Yeah.
hurry up, be the impatient ADHD person there. So I've got a lot of inspiration from Blinklist, and gosh, the amount of books I've read, you know, I could read three, four, five a week
Yes.
on that. One a day at 15 minutes is not a big habit to build as well.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in anything creative, boredom, how does that inspire? Leadership is always good as well. Yeah, those kind of things. I do like an autobiography
Oh, I do. Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
and
So,
I think yeah, go on.
sorry, go on.
Yeah, and I think that's probably where the success nuggets come past. It is part autobiography, part life lesson. You know, practical. How do we make progress?
Yeah. Well, when you've been around the block a few times, you've got advice to give, haven't you? You've got that stuff that because it's like history, it keeps repeating itself. There's nothing new under the sun. When people are like worried about somebody stealing my IP and taking my idea, it's like, well, somebody's already had it. You're not the first person to think about that. It's how you do it is unique for sure, but the actual idea in one form or another. Probably Aristotle started the ball rolling back in the day. And I think it's funny when people worry about people stealing their ideas. That's why we don't worry about competition in Collaboration Global. Some networks will say, oh no, we don't allow more than one person of one category, of one industry, blah, blah, only one business coach, only one marketing person. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, bring them all in, because then the more the merrier. We're gonna learn what she does really well and what he does really well. And actually neither of them do that bit very well. So we need somebody else to come in and take that bit. And it just means that's when collaboration starts. And that's when the client gets the best deal, because they're getting the best from everybody doing the stuff they love, rather than somebody going, oh yeah, I can do all of that. And really they're not very good at that bit. They can do it, but they don't like doing that bit. So the client just gets the best when we all come together and just leave the ego at the door, and make sure that we do what we love doing. And I think
but
that's where you're at the moment, isn't it? You've come to this full circle. You've been out there, you've been chasing the money, you've got the money, you've come back again, you've got the family life, and it's now, right, what do I actually want to do? What do I really love doing?
yeah,
And you,
how do I feel alive in business? And I've tried to position the digital light bulb as something I'd loved in business anyway, because I get amongst them as
Yeah.
well. And community is the right word, not network. Also, you know, it's great. It's very sensible to partner with people if they've got a skill that you don't,
Yeah.
and vice versa if possible, or just you with one and then with another, whatever piece is missing. But I always
Mm.
wanted the digital light bulb to be in the center of the information. And someone reframed it for me and said, no, you want to be in the center of the inspiration and the action.
Mm.
I was like, that's it. And just like you say, let's all be in the center of the information, the action. And just like those remote working places at the time, no, there's no politics. It's just sharing. And if there are micro positive projects that come up that people need help with, and people can, you know, people want to get involved in purpose, and not everyone's a starter, but there's plenty of great people who are part of a team who can do some good stuff for you, and they'll take that as their win. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So yeah, center of the inspiration and the action.
And even when you do stuff that doesn't quite work out the way you'd imagined it, how much do you learn along the way? You know, it's like the story about the guy that wanted to make 1 million and he got to like 45 and he made his first million and then a year later he lost it. Oops. And then it only took him another 2 years to make 5 million and then he lost it. But it only took him like 9 months to make 10 million because he knew what he was doing. He'd learned all that skill set along the way. So it was easy to get back on the wagon.
Well, the thing I've learned about my own business that I probably didn't appreciate in the normal world, the normal world, is that the vehicle changes all the time.
Yeah.
1 minute you're up, a bit like the Frank Sinatra song, riding high in April, shot down in May. And
Yeah.
then it comes back again and you change there. But my business mantra is learn, change, grow. And that is the
Mm.
mindset of a champion, I believe, is to be able to learn, change, grow,
Yeah.
not fear things.
Are we back on track? No, I think we've lost him.
Where did it go wrong?
We lost you a little bit there, David. I I do apologise for our links today. We've
So,
not been doing so good, but I,
so that, yeah, I'll say that is the mindset of a champion, to learn, to change it up, to grow from it. And if you sit down with a pen and paper, and especially if you ask someone, well, how do you think we could learn, change, grow?
mm,
I've come up with 16 points from a 90-minute meeting,
yeah,
how we could have done that better pre, during, and post.
all right,
And if you imagine that as a high jump, it's here or 16 times higher. Well, that's my new bar. Like, how much better are you for that?
mhm,
And you learn the lesson. No fear, good attitude, and
yeah,
just keep, you know, every morning just going, not what can I get? Don't ask for what you can get. Ask for how much stronger you
yeah,
can become. Who can I become? Not what can I get?
yeah.
Will serve you well.
I like to flip it as well with how many people can I help rather than how much money am I going to make. It's that if you're looking at helping people, it's a different dynamic, a different energy. And the money just comes along by the side. You haven't even got to worry about it, but it's how many people can I help today? What am
Yeah.
I going to do for other people that's going to make a difference in their life? And I think going back to the change thing, the world we are in is changing constantly. So if we are not going to learn, change, and grow, we're going to be not standing still, we're moving backwards for sure. We cannot possibly keep up with the change of pace unless we are constantly learning and growing. So I'm beginning to realize that you're not worried about AI. You're embracing it and learning and changing as you go.
I think yes, um, there's that. There's the by association that I can understand not just ideas but teams that we could mold together that AI can't do.
Yeah.
I'm good in real time and have spent the last 5 years meeting people as well, so that's been a good thing. And as I look closer at a bit like what you say there, I would have called that a specialist versus a generalist,
Mm-hmm.
because I've done those different careers and still get involved in whether it's podcasting or live hosting or being an author. They weren't things I did 5 years ago. They
Mm.
weren't even on the list until
No.
we started to connect more. So by just getting involved and doing more and more and more and more of that,
Yeah.
it's the specialist who I maybe they will stand still, but maybe the tide will just take them away and they don't know what to do. They won't know how to swim away.
Yeah.
Whereas we'll be on surfboards as well. So no, I'm not worried about it. I do embrace it. I don't rely on it.
No.
But when it first came out, I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe, wow, what have we been given here?
Yeah. It is phenomenal, but also slightly nerve-wracking vis-a-vis what are you watching and is it the truth? I was looking at an Obama video on YouTube today, and I looked a bit closer and a bit closer and went, whoa, that's not even real.
No,
But if you're just glancing at it, you wouldn't know the difference. It was his voice. It was, but you look closer, and pretty soon the looking closer isn't going to do it. It will look exactly like him. So
yeah,
that worries me slightly. But let's not end on a down. Let's end on a high. It was wonderful to meet you at Fatima's event. Anybody wants to know more about that, by the way, fatimasukcampaign.com. And it's about helping children in care not to be lost in the melee of all the admin that goes around their situation, and some dire circumstances have happened. So Fatima is raising awareness and joining the dots and helping these children in care to become successful adults as the time goes on. So it's lovely to meet you at that event, David, sorry. And thank you for spending time with us today. I love the idea of the digital light bulb and these 1,000 ideas. I shall look forward to seeing them all pop up and be recorded so that we can see that's going to happen by the time you hit 50. And that will be a party to remember, won't it?
absolutely. Yeah. Lovely. Thanks, Jill. It's been
Lovely
great
to
coming
have
on.
you on. And you've given out all your details, but obviously that will be underneath as well. And if anybody would like to meet David, hopefully one day he'll be at one of our events at Collaboration Global, maybe even speaking at one of our events. So watch this space. And you can come to one of our events if you go to collaborationglobal.org and book yourself on there. It's completely free. And we have amazing speakers like David to share their wisdom and have a chat and create amazing discussions. So thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you, David, for everything as well.
You're very kind. Thanks, Jill.
Cheers.